Greetings, everyone. It's been a while since I've done a little show, so I thought I'd do a one-to-one or one to you lot. But I put this together because I've had a few people getting in touch and asking, what's the point of why you're putting these lectures up by, say, Rudolf Steiner or the books of Maurice Nicole? Why are you doing this? I even had one person ask me, what's the point of it? And I do it because I feel like I need to try and help the development of humanity. And I do not have my own system, but I would like to put forward and share with other people the system of people like Rudolf Steiner and Gurdjieff, Maurice Nicole, and such like. So I've been putting up over the last month or so quite a few different readings of lectures. They say things much more eloquently than I could, and they have a much better understanding of humanity's role in the cosmos. And recently I put up one of Rudolf Steiner's lectures, A Picture of Earth Evolution in the Future. And I put that up because a few people were asking, what's the point of all this knowledge? And I actually spent some time away with a friend during the solstice, where I actually asked him does he follow these kind of spiritual paths? And his reply was to me, I want to gain knowledge. So we've got some people asking me, why do we need this knowledge? And somebody else who's telling me he just wants to gain knowledge. Well, my next stage in all that would be, well, what do you do with this knowledge? And I believe from what Gurdjieff and Steiner are telling us is to use that knowledge and turn it into wisdom and become aware of your role on this planet as part of the cosmos, as part of the divine source's plans. I would like to think that you are watching my shows because you want to be on the right side of the divine, as in helping in the development of the cosmos, and you are not looking to be, part of the dark forces and to destroy our beautiful planet and to bring down humanity. And recently I've recorded a lecture by Stein called A Picture of Earth Evolution in the Future, where I think he's explaining very clearly what it is we should be doing and how we are part of the cosmos and other beings that are part of the cosmos. Now, I do find Rudolf Steiner's cosmology quite difficult sometimes, or complicated, which is why I've been doing a lot of shows recently with Patrick Dixon, and you can look back and find them on my channel, where he has a thorough understanding of anthroposophy, spiritual science, and what humanity's role is in the development of this universe, cosmos, the ongoing evolution of the whole cosmos. I think some people, and I have discussed this with various people over the last year or so, and I have kind of wheedled my way into getting around to this subject to find out where they stand in it. And I've been quite surprised. I think some people who are on spiritual paths, I should add, who are theosophists, anthroposophists, Gurdjieffians, that don't actually believe in the cosmology that either Steiner's giving or Blavatsky's giving or Gurdjieff's giving. Or maybe that's the wrong word, not the believe is the wrong word. I don't think they can quite understand that what they're describing is an ongoing process. They seem to think that the way we live now is a progression and is the be all and end all. I feel like they think this is it. We've reached the top of humanity's evolution. And I've been quite surprised by that with people on a spiritual path. Do not they not understand that it's not just the materialistic evolution? I'd say that's not the apex. There's still obviously people starving in the world, there's still people homeless and so on. So obviously humanity is not at its apex because we're still letting people suffer. Whereas Rudolf Steiner is saying that when we have developed ourselves to a certain stage, there will be no more suffering because we will understand each other. Each human will understand what another human being is and would want to make sure that other human being is okay. I'm going to put it as, it's okay, thumbs up. But I mean, like, will understand if they're going through any mental or emotional or physical trauma, would want to reach out and help them. Now, in this day and age, at the moment, very few people want to help other people. Some people do it to look good in front of other people. Some people genuinely are carers for other humans in a sensible, awakened way. Then there are those that help just because they've got nothing else to do with their lives and a bit of the deal do-gooders. So there's different people trying to help other humans. But Steiner, in this lecture that I recently read called The Picture of Earthly Evolution for the Future, is talking about how, and I think Gurdjieff is trying to get to this as well, we should be perfecting ourselves to the best part of humanity we can be. But now I'm going to go back to those people I was just saying about who think this is the apex. Well, they're obviously really coming from a materialistic, secular way. I do wonder if these people wear spiritual paths when they join societies like Theosophy, Anthroposophy, Gurdjieffian groups, yet still think that kind of way, just wear it as a badge. Obviously, every society will be infiltrated by those that don't really do what either Steiner or Gurdjieff is encouraging us to do. So again, that's why I read this lecture, because I felt it was explaining that we have a mission as humans. It's very good that people come to lectures or talks at their various societies. It's a bit like those people that go to church on Sundays and then the rest of the week don't give a damn what they do, and then come back to church on Sunday and be all pious. It's doing it all the time. Being an awakened person is hard work. But to even get to that stage of being an awakened person is hard work. So I'm just bringing it back around to where I was talking about the knowledge. We can gain all the knowledge we want, but what are you doing, or am I doing with that knowledge? Am I turning it into wisdom? Are you turning it into wisdom? Are we understanding the processes and the systems that the cosmology of the whole universe is all about? In other shows where I've worked, been discussing the Gurdjieff work, I talk about how we're trying to be part of the divine plan. And I believe Steiner is saying the same thing. And I've been surprised lately how many people read Gurdjieff, Steiner, Blavatsky, you name them, all the other spiritual leaders, but still can't implement the way they're showing us to do it. I'm not having a go at people. I think what I'm trying to say is this is why I put out the Steiner lectures, the Gurdjieff writings, and other people's writings on that work, who do understand it and are able to get it across to people. I wonder if it does still go into their intellect, who are listening to this or reading these kinds of things, and slowly it's working its way down to the subconscious and then will come back up again. I know that there are people out there. I've met some of you. I've been in touch, or some of you got in touch with me and then we've stayed in touch. I know are doers, which is what these lectures are trying to encourage us to do. The latest one that I put up, this picture of Earth evolution in the future by Rudolf Steiner, he does talk about other beings coming down to help us, but I think only those that have been working upon themselves in some kind of way possibly can attune to hear them. I get quite concerned about, I do hear of a lot of channelers, but I don't think that's what Steiner's talking about. I don't think it's channeling. I think these beings that he's talking about, these supermen or supermen that are going to help us become the Superman, are actually getting in touch and in contact with us to work with us. which is why I recommend perhaps going back and listening to that lecture if you're interested. And I would love to hear what you think he's saying. I'm quite concerned over the last few years of the amount of people that send me links to channels of people channeling supposed galactic entities that have come with goodwill and good peace. But when I watch these people, I feel there's something fake about it. I wish I'd been around when the US government was visited by Valiant 4. Now, that happened in the 1950s. Valiant 4 and 2 of his cohorts, I believe they said they came from Venus. I can't remember properly now the details, but anyway, they're these two humanoid beings. I think there was 3 of them actually, but Valiant 4 was kind of like the one in charge who was talking to the president. They were given places to stay at the White House. Apparently they had suits that they wore that like boiler suits, but no one could see any zips or buttons. So they didn't understand how how these visitors' clothing work. Frank Strange wrote a fantastic book about it, which used to be quite hard to get, but I've seen more and more copies out and about now. So this Valiant 4, he came and obviously met the President of the United States and stayed there for a while at the White House, trying to explain to them about brotherhood, about unity, unification. But because we're living in this materialistic, secular world, it's just not getting across to humanity that we need to look at each other and realize that's a person in front of us as human beings. I did a show a few months ago about NPCs because I had all these people saying to me, do you think that's an NPC? Do you think that person's an NPC? What about her? Is she an NPC? And it was beginning to grate on me a bit, but even NPCs, if they are real or not, they're still developing beings. So they still have a germ of a soul in them. So they are still on their own developing path. So how we treat them will come back on our own karma as well as their karma. An NPC can be a very annoying person, but at the same time, we should be seeing why that person is being annoying to us. You know, as Gurdjieff says, why are they treading on our toes? So I just have a little sip of my hot chocolate. You know, they're good lessons to learn from interacting with these people, which is part of what the Gurdjieff work's about. Gurdjieff's here to try and show us how we navigate our way through this world, this planet, this earth, this lunatic asylum that we're living in. And I think Steiner, from my point of view, is showing us how to be prepared to work in the cosmos. I think Gurdjieff does that as well, but you really have to fathom the gist. You have to learn how to do the first part of the work, which I think is learning how to navigate through the lunatic asylum. And then that will start helping you to be part of the cosmic harmony that's out there. I also noticed people want answers on a plate lately. I've spent most of my life trying to fathom the gist. And I'm not saying it's because I don't want to give answers to you people, because sometimes I don't know the answers. And sometimes I'm not sure if my answer is the right answer, which is why I think I like to provide the information for you. And I'll try and explain my point of view of something or my understanding of something. And, you know, I'm ready to take corrections. I have got things wrong before. Sometimes when I do these shows, my mouth just goes into blah, 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 and I know I say a few things, the wrong words come out. I also know sometimes I've had quite a few debates with people, good debates, fun debates. I don't always understand the jargon that perhaps Gurdjieff uses, or the different names for parts of the cosmology that Steiner uses. What I do believe in is, from both their systems, which are kind of alike, is they're trying to teach us about faith and love, having faith in the divine, having faith in humanity. If we can help humanity develop itself as well as ourselves, You know, at the moment, I just seem to see humanity is going on a downward curve, but I do meet some genuinely real people. So that gives me hope. But I also think in these last few years, last few months, definitely we are living in interesting times again, aren't we? The last few years, big changes happening. And Steiner and Gurdjieff, J.G. Bennett, and all these people could see this was coming all the way back then, because they were developed people, so they could see where things were going. And part of doing this work and learning how to read yourself and other people and understand who you are and what you believe in, having a foundation in things, helps you to see how the world's moving, what's coming. I'm not saying that you're going to be able to be like Nostradamus and just look into a bowl of water and suddenly you can read the future, but you see the patterns, you see the programming that's happening and how people are following it, and those that aren't following it are going to cause certain disruptions, chaos. You can see what's coming when you start doing this kind of work and develop yourself. You start attuning to the rhythm of the world. And then once you start attuning to the rhythm of this world, you start attuning to the rhythm of the cosmos, to the whole, and then onto the universe. And sometimes when I talk to people that I thought were on these spiritual paths, I'm going to talk again about the people that I've realized think this is it for humanity and don't really see any evolution. And some of them quite shock me in that I don't think they even believe in a God. They don't seem to understand or realize that Steiner and Gurdjieff and Blavatsky are telling us that there is a hierarchy in the cosmos out there. Us humans are not the top of the ladder, as I know many of you know. So by doing this work of either Gurdjieff or Steiner, just developing your faith and your love so that you can be more attuned to this planet and the beings that are coming, talking down to us. That's what I wanted to say actually about this Steiner lecture that I read. And he's talking about these beings coming from the cosmos. I often wonder, maybe he's talking about our higher selves. Our higher selves are telling us all the time what it is we should be doing, but are we attuned to hear them? And normally when we're working in our lower egos, we can't hear the higher. So this Steiner, Gurdjieff, what I'm just going to call these systems are here to help us become aware of what our lower self is doing and see it for what it is, and start taking control of ourselves. As Gurdjieff would say, we would, start recognizing our different eyes, call forward Deputy Steward to take control of them eyes so that finally essence can come through, or, the controlling, the eye that can help us, wants to help us, wants to be part of the higher self, the higher centers. But we get so many distractions from the rat race, don't we? So many distractions from the lunatic asylum. And I've noticed recently that a lot of people are questioning why do this? And I'm concerned that they're thinking that because we seem to be going through a very, like I was saying, it's kind of a dark period, but yet at the same time, I can feel the vibrations are differing as people are waking up. But sometimes the old ways are very difficult to let go. And the dark forces can manipulate certain people to keep people trapped in old programming, which Steiner kind of talks about a little bit towards the end of that lecture that I've put up, a picture of Earth evolution in the future. He talks about how certain people don't want humanity to evolve, and obviously I don't know them, so I can't do I don't understand their understanding. I don't understand why they think that way, but then people get stuck in programs, get stuck in plans. People don't like change. I'm sure many of you have seen the movies The Matrix, and in there Neo is explained why they were when they were supposedly living in the real world, when they're really stuck in the pods, you know, the dream world, the matrix, it was set at a certain period, which was today, wasn't it, really? The modern world, because that apparently was what humanity was most comfortable with. And people are easily distracted by spiritual soulful past, by TV, by the news, you know, by people's problems, family life, such like. So that's why we have to make even more effort to make sure we do our exercises, Gurdjieff ones or Steiner ones, whichever path you're following, and trying to fathom the gist. You might get all the knowledge you want, but if you're not turning it into wisdom and using it to help you develop for the betterment of the planet and then for God, then you're on the wrong side. This isn't subjective work, this is objective work. Steiner talks about how spiritual science could change the whole of humanity if we had enough people that did it properly for the better, so that nobody starved, nobody was left out on the street, nobody lacked anything. Where at the moment we still live in a world where there is a lot of lacking going on. There are people that are lacking homes, people lacking money to pay bills, people lacking food, and so on. You all know the story. So, so I know it sounds like I had a bit of a rant at other people on spiritual paths there. You have to be aware of people that are not doing the work, but instead are just wearing it like a badge. Yet at the same time, if they've got that knowledge in them, there must be something niggling at their conscience to make them wake up a bit. I don't know. We've got to remember spiritual paths attracts very different types of people. Whereas the secular materialistic world is mainly people that are easily led, don't want to be made a fool of, so they follow their secular system, what they're told, the rationalistic way, the secular way, don't want to be made to look fools of. Where us people on spiritual paths who are really doing the work, we have to use discernment so that we don't get taken down the wrong path. You know, I've said before on other shows, I've been blagged by people that I thought were great spiritual teachers. I've gone to the wrong groups, or discovered after time that I'd gone to the wrong groups. But that's something we have to just sort of pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and start again, or find others. There are good people out there. There are also higher beings that want to help us, and we can connect with them if we can just do the work and make it happen. Let me have a little drink now. I was going to read some Steiner. So this lecture that I've recently put up, he talks about how people are cultivating shadowy thoughts. He goes on to talk about how the spider web network around the planet is being filled up with humanity's shadowy thoughts, which will keep us down in a doom and gloom. And I've definitely felt the last few months there's been a pressure of doom and gloom, and everything's been very cloudy. We haven't had the seasons we should be having. I've discussed this with various people. I know some people think this bit that Steiner's predicted about the spiders that have put the net round is already here. You could go down many rabbit holes about that. Maybe they are building it. Maybe they're building it on a sub-nature level that at some point is going to be able to come into our natural level. So again, our own thoughts and our own deeds are going to be influencing that network that Stein is talking about, is being built up in these spider webs. So again, we don't want to be influencing that, instead, in a bad way, in the negative way, That's another reason to do these kinds of spiritual path work, so that we could be strong enough that we're not sending the right impulses out, and instead of sending the right impulses out that won't just affect that spider web. I've said it before, when we're thinking, doing, being, when we're creating our magnetic sensor, that's going to be going out to other people. And okay, it's going to also attract a few weirdos, but that light needs to stay a light. And I've just remembered something else that someone said that I wanted to bring up, about how they said it was quite a lonely path. It can be. And maybe it was, you know, over the last 30 years or so, because these kind of paths can be easily ridiculed by the normies. So it makes you feel a bit left out and lonely. But we've got the internet now, so people can connect with other people on spiritual paths. Though, as I was saying earlier, we have to use our discernment and make sure we don't follow anyone that might be taking us in the wrong path, in the wrong direction. Again, it's all discernment. I'm always there for questions. I'm happily take emails and question with people. I've had the last couple of months doing a bit of traveling and various work things, so that's why I've not been Zooming that much with this on YouTube or with people. I know people have requested Zooms. I am up for doing that and doing one-to-ones, but you need to have specific. If you get in touch with me, we'll discuss it from there. I was just going to say we need specific. I don't want just to have a chitty chatty. That sounds really rude of me. I want to do work with other people, I should say. That's a good way of putting it. So I'm back in my own area. I can do that kind of thing again now if people want to do that again. I've recontacted those of you that did get in touch whilst I was away. But I don't want to be, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. There's something niggling and I can't get it out. I don't want to be time wasting with anyone. And we'll take it from there. We'll just see. Normally, if someone gets in touch with me and wants to do a one-to-one, I'll do a first initiation. Initiation, that was completely the wrong word. I'll do a little introduction and we'll chat to each other and see how it goes from there. But really, I find that sometimes it's just better that you go and find the writings and readings of Rudolf Steiner and Gurdjieff and Maurice Nicole to help you develop, because I will always be trying to take you back to the faith and the love for yourself, for humanity, and the divine source. And I've noticed recently, this is what I'm just going to say it. I found a lot of people I was doing one-to-ones with struggling with the faith and love. And they were coming from the intellect only, which I'm happy to help people along with. But we've got to remember there's three centers: intellectual, emotional, and physical. And if we don't harmonize the three of them, you're not going to be fully developed or harmonious, as Mr. Gurdjieff says. Oh, I feel like I've just done a real harsh, I didn't mean it to be harsh, but hopefully it isn't. Hopefully it's not come across the way I'm feeling that it is. I'm just trying to encourage people to look at things from all centers. And if you want just knowledge, well, that just makes you a clever clogs, but you need to turn that knowledge into something, and the understanding and the wisdom of your part in the development of what we should be doing for us and the planet and for the cosmos. Blah, 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 blah. I go on and on and on. I was going to read something from Steiner, but I can't be bothered now. Just, if you're interested in what his idea is about the supermen coming from outside Earth and us developing into supermen, listen to the lecture I put up recently of Steiner, GA 204, A Picture of Earth Evolution in the Future, where he also talks about the spiders taking over the world. Watch out for the spiders, people.